So today we are working on topic 12, and this is lesson 12-5. And today we are going to solve some word problems that involve money. So we are on page 461 right now in volume 2. If you do not have that, go ahead and get your math book and let's get started. So the first problem reads, a flash drive costs $24. So each one is $24. I'm going to box that in. And that's including tax. A customer purchases 3 flash drives and pays the cashier $80. How much change should the cashier give back to the customer? Ooh. This is actually a multi-step problem. And there's a couple different ways that we can solve. And see, they remind us, solve this problem any way you choose. They're so kind. So let's take a look at the different ways that we could solve. Well, we're talking about money. So the first thing that you might do, we know that $24 could be broken apart into a $20 bill. We've seen those before. And then they would have 4 ones. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? 1, 1, 1, and 1. But we bought 3 of those, right? Because 24 was just the price of 1. So we have 3 flash drives. So that's 1, and then we have our 20 for flash drive number 2 with our 1, 2, 3, 4 ones to make up the $24. And then over here, we have another $20 bill for flash drive number 3, and then our 4 ones. 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So now what do we have to figure out? Well, the question was, they want to know the change that the cashier is going to give back. And remember, they pay with $80. So first, I guess we need to figure out how much they spend on these 3 flash drives. So we've got to add up all these dollar bills. Well, that would be 20, 40, 60, and then my ones, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, and 72. $72 is what they spent. But now, if we know they paid with 80, we have to subtract $80 minus $72. And we know we can't take 2 away from 0, so we're going to have to borrow. And now we're left with 10 minus 2, which would be 8. And 7 minus 7 is 0. So 8 what? 8 flash drives? No. How much change should the cashier give back? This represents $8. $8. Now, let's look down here. They want to know, how can you estimate and check if your solution is reasonable? Well, we know that each flash drive, right, was $24. And I know that 24 is really close or almost 25. And I can add 25 3 times, right? Thinking in my brain, 25 times 3. I know that part. And that's equal to $75. And that's estimate. So if we want to know how much change, then 80 minus 75 would be about $5. And $5 is pretty close to my total, which was 8. Therefore, my answer is pretty reasonable. Let's turn the page. We're going to do another example. We're on page 462 now. You have a plane and a car, a pair at the top. Sorry, you can see some of my ink coming through the page. So we have here Marcus, and Marcus buys a toy airplane and a toy car. You can see the cost of the airplane here and the cost of the car. The question is, how much does he spend? So how much does Marcus spend in all? That's like question number 1 right there. And then I see another question. How much more, ooh, that's subtraction, does the toy airplane cost than the toy car? So this is a 2-part question, isn't it? So we can draw, they've told us here, you can draw bills and coins to solve your problem, or maybe we could use place value. We're going to try both. So let's look. Well, I know that if I'm going to find out how much they cost in all, I'm going to have to add, right? So for part 1, we're going to say $3.32 plus $1.12, right? And that's going to tell how much he spent in all. And you can now see that when we zoom in on this part B right here, and they've gone ahead and illustrated $3.32 with 1, 2, $3 and 10, 20, 30, 31, 32. So that's your $3.32 illustrated there. And then over here, the cost of the car, $1.12. That's 1, right? And this is 10, and this is 1 and 1, meaning $1.10, 11, 12. So that's your $1.12. So we could go ahead and add those together, right? If we count, then we have a total of $1, 2, 3, $4. $4 bills. Now we can add up the dimes, the next biggest currency, and we would have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And if you look here, you can see 4 dimes represented as 40 cents. And then we know that these pennies are each worth just 1 cent. So when we add those up, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 represented right here. And now when you add up all of those amounts, you would have 4 in the dollar place, in the whole dollar place, a 4 in the tenths place to represent your dimes, and then a 4 in the hundredths place. So $4.44. And that is what Marcus spent on the airplane and the car. So now in that second question, now we've got to find out how much more the airplane is than the car. And I know how many more or how much more means that I'm going to subtract. So I'm going to start with the cost of the airplane and then subtract the cost of the car. So they've drawn the dollar amounts here to represent first the airplane, which is 1, 2, $3, and 10, 20, 30, 31, 32 cents. And then we're going to take away or cross off the price of the toy car, which was $1.12. So we crossed off $1 bill, and then 12 cents would be 10, 11, 12. Now we can count. We're left with $1, $2. So 2 in the ones place. And then we have 10 and 20. So $2.20 remaining. Now, the question down here wants to know how we can use place value. It's kind of messy there, so I'm going to come over here. So if we wanted to use place value, boys and girls, take a look. First, we're going to do problem 1, where we're finding out how much Marcus spent. So we'd have to add up these money amounts. So first I'm going to record the cost of the airplane. And now we have to make sure the place values align. So below that, I'm going to add the cost of the toy car. It is $1, so the ones place line up, and then 12 cents. So we have the tenths and the hundredths, right? And then we can add those together. 2 plus 2 is 4. 3 plus 1 is 4. Our decimal point lines up, and 3 plus 1 in the ones place, or these whole numbers, are adding up to $4.44, which is exactly what we got up here when we used the money. See? Now let's do part B using place value, where we subtract. I think this is probably the method most fourth graders use. I don't often see fourth graders drawing out the money, but that's, personal preference. But we want to find out how much more the airplane costs than the car. So again, we're going to write the larger amount, which was the airplane. We know that because it's $3, and that's bigger than 1. And then we're going to subtract $1.12. So when we do that subtraction, again, our place values, in this case our money, must line up. So 2 take away 2 would leave me with 0. 3 minus 1 is 2. And then 3 take away 1 would leave me with 2. Again, the same difference that we got up here when we drew our dollar bills and our change. All right, we're going to look at just another one before you guys are doing your work independently, just so we can make sure we understand representing these as a decimal. So your directions are to write a fraction and a decimal to describe how the quantities are related. So they've given you, what they've done here is given you the first portion of it, and they're showing you that this is a dime, and it is worth 1/10 of a dollar. If you have 10 of these, then you have one whole dollar. And to show that in the representation of money would be right here. So 10 cents. So now let's look at this example. We have 1, 2, 3 dimes. If I were to count up, that would be 10, 20, 30 cents, right? So the decimal would be $0.03 or 30 cents. And I just said the fraction, right? You may have heard it, 3/10. Let's look at number 2. Write a fraction and a decimal to describe how the quantities are related. So, same thing. Right here, I have this portion. And the penny is worth 1/100th of a dollar, or just 1 cent. So this would be 1, 2, 3 cents, or 3/100ths. And then our decimal would be represented with a 0 in the whole dollar amount, 0/10, but 3 pennies, so 3/100ths. So we only have 3 of these. Remember, we need 100 total to make an entire dollar. All right. There's one more question that I want to go through, and then you guys are going to be free to get started. You don't have a whole lot of questions today, so this video is a little bit longer. Sorry. Number 3, Marcus has $15. So that's what he has like in his pocket. He buys a movie ticket for $11.25. How much money does Marcus have left? So we know that when we're talking about how much you have left, we have to subtract. Now, they've drawn the dollars for you, so I'll let you guys do that. What I would like to do, right, see they have the 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then 4 quarters make up another dollar, so that's $1 right there. So yes, you can take away 10 and 11 and 25, and you can find that you have $1, $2, $3, and then 25, 25, and 25. So $3.75 remaining. But I want to show you guys using place value. So first we would set up the $15 right here, just like we did before. And then we're going to subtract the $11.25. Again, place values must line up. So we cannot take 5 away from 0, so we're going to have to borrow, right? So we have 10 here. And then we go over, we can't borrow from here, so we're going to go all the way over here. So we have a 4, right? And this becomes 9. We know that. 10 take away 5, we're left with 5. And 9 minus 2 is 7. And 4 minus 1 is 3. And then 1 take away nothing is 0. So again, arriving at that same answer of $3.75. Today, you guys have these 2 word problems down here at the bottom, 4 and 5. You're going to turn the page. You don't need to do this one with the table. I don't really like the way that's worded. And you have these problems, 7 through 10, and then you have an exit ticket, a couple exit ticket questions. We'll meet at 2 o'clock to go over these problems. See you then.